RNG라는 팀을 3대 0으로.
I'm happy with the fact that we were able to beat RNG 3-0. I'm proud of it. I'm happy, but at the same time, I think I left a lot to be desired on my end. So it's a mixture of a feeling, it's like 50-50.
When you say that you feel like you could have done better, what do you mean? Can you go into more details?
일단 지금 와서 생각해 보면은 2세트 때 제이스를 했던 게 조금 제가 자신감을 많이 어필했는데 다시 생각해 보니까 좀 너무 힘들어진 상황, 좀 힘든 상황을 제가 만든 것 같아서 그게 좀 아쉬운 것 같고, 그리고 3세트 때 요네데 아트록스 구도에서 좀 평소보다 훨씬 좀 잘 못한 것 같아서 그게 만족스럽지 않네요.
So now that I look back to yesterday's series, in game number two, the fact that I actually just locked in Jace, it was based on my, confidence. I was pretty vocal about it, and then I think I was the one that actually put my team in a very difficult position. So it's a big bummer. And also in game three, I played Yone into Aatrox, and it didn't really go as well as like normally do. So it's also a bummer.
Do you normally prefer to play like a tankier top laner, or like a more of a glass cannon top laner, or you kind of do both?
사실 원래는 예전에 이제 아카데미에서 연습생 할 때는 탱챔을 조금 더 선호했었는데 어느샌가부터 좀 칼챔에 좀 눈을 뜨고 나서는 칼챔을 더 선호하는 것 같아요.
I actually used to prefer tank champions a lot when I was in, academy, when I was in the team one rookies. And then one day I kind of like those kind of duelist champions actually like grew in me and I started to like it a lot. So now I prefer, those picks.
Yeah, I noticed that. So do you think that it was like the duelist pick that didn't work out for you in game two? Should you have picked a different champion, or kind of what went wrong for you in that game?
일단 픽으로 봤을 때는 좀 너무 그 상대방 탑정글 조합에 부러지기 쉬운 칼챔을 뽑았던 것 같고, 사실 그리고 플레이적으로도 좀 더 잘할 만한 여지가 분명히 있었는데 그것도 잘 못한 것도 맞는 것 같습니다.
So I mean, so champion wise, I think my pick Jace was a little bit too fragile into enemy's top jungle duo, and also my play was not on point as well.
But still, your team won all three games, and who do you kind of credit for saving you in those games where you feel like you didn't do so well?
일단 제가 경기 중에서는 뭔가 제 KD와 CS에 신경을 좀 많이 쓰다 보니까 다른 라인을 그렇게 많이 확인하지 못했는데, 분명 다 잘해주었겠지만 뭔가 구마유지 선수가 말로도 계속 지금 바텀이 이렇게 많이 이기고 있으니까 천천히 해라 이런 식으로 많이 어필해줘서 그게 좀 많이 릴렉스가 됐던 것 같아요.
So while I was playing, I was too caught up with my own KDA and also my CS numbers. But I think I'm pretty sure everyone was doing a great job. But Gumayusi was the one actually like in the player comm. He was like, "We're doing fine. Like our bottom lane is you're crushing them, so we are winning so huge. So don't you guys worry about it. Relax and go slow." So I was able to feel a lot more comfortable.
This is like a huge victory, right? Because Korea, essentially you're representing Korea and dominating over China, which has not been the case in the past few years. Usually China is dominating Korea. So can you talk about like what that means to you?
일단 3대 0이긴 하지만 뭔가 2세트가 엄청 분기점이었다고 생각해서 거기서 이긴 게 정말 컸던 것 같고, 그리고 이제 LPL과의 다전제에서 또 4강에서 맞붙기 때문에 이번에 이기면 진짜 되게 기분 좋을 것 같습니다.
So yeah, it was like 3-0, but I think game number two, winning that one was like a major turning point. So I think yeah, that was the point where everything was like kind of decided. It was so critical. And then we are having another rematch with an LPL team in the semifinals. So if we can repeat another win there, it's gonna be great.
And do you have kind of confidence in your team that you can do that? And what kind of things have you been practicing to make sure you can defeat a LPL team?
당연히 자신감이 있어야 된다 생각하고, 그리고 이제 준비해 나가는 단계인데, 일단 아틀란타로 가기 전에 좀 연습도 좀 미리 많이 해놓고 그리고 가서도 좀 상대방이 그런 뭐랄까 좋아하는 픽이나 그런 거 잘 분석해서 잘 준비하면 될 것 같습니다.
I think, everyone should be confident in themselves. And, we are just about to start preparing for the semifinals. And before we fly out to Atlanta, I think we have to practice a little bit. And also, after we land there, I think we will focus on, what kind of picks they prefer and analyze them and their strategy and prepare for the match.
That makes sense. Can you kind of give me a sense of what your training schedule is like these days?
어 이제 이제 사실 4강이 오고 나서는 좀 연습을 할 수 있는 팀이 한정적이라서 앞으로 어떻게 될지는 잘 모르겠는데 원래는 하루에 스크림을 한 3타임 정도 하는 것 같고 그리고 나머지 시간에는 쉬거나 솔로 랭크를 하는 것 같습니다.
So now that we are in semifinals, we have a very limited number of teams that we can actually, scrim together. But usually, like up until now, we were like having 3 screen blocks, and then, in the remaining time, we usually just get some rest or play solo queue.
Got it. Going back to what you said about what's coming up next, I'm wondering how you feel about the kind of like Korea and China dominating worlds every year, but China being in the lead in the past and North America obviously losing again this year. Do you have any thoughts about that?
일단 이번에 첫 월드라서 좀 많은 걸 경험해봤는데 중국 팀들이 확실히 되게 잘하는 건 맞는 것 같고 북미 팀은 뭔가 상대 스크림에서 만나보면은 뭐 예를 들면 임팩트 선수나 썸데이 선수나 되게 잘하신다고 생각해서 좀 뭐지 탑만 보면 좀 잘한다고 생각하는데 항상 대회에서 좋은 결과가 나오지 않더라고요. 그래서 뭔가 북미 뭔가 뭐라 해야 될까 좀 네, 그렇습니다.
So yeah, this is my first world, and I'm getting so much experience here. So I kind of realized that China, they're really, really strong, and also North America. Like when we scream against them, actually, I played against like, for example, Impact or Someday, and they're really good, they were really strong. So just looking at the top lane itself, I was like, oh, they're pretty strong, but it's a bummer that they cannot actually translate that into a like match result.
I also want to talk about what is it like for you to go to Worlds with Faker, who obviously went to Worlds so many times before. Has he helped you or given you any like tips?
가끔씩 이렇게 얘기를 할 때 뭐 월즈는 뭐 이런 식이다 뭐 이렇게 해야 된다 가끔씩 이렇게 팁을 말해주는데 그런 게 좀 도움이 됐던 것 같습니다.
Yeah, sometimes like when we were having conversations, Faker actually goes like, in Worlds, like this is like this or something like that. He's giving a lot of tips, and it was really helpful.
Do you feel like you can help T1 and Faker kind of make a new historic record and win Worlds yet again? Be like the team that has won Worlds the most?
그렇게 될 수 있는 게 제 바람이기도 한데 꼭 그러고 싶은 것 같습니다.
Well, that is my wish, and I really hope that happens.
I'm also wondering if like you can just kind of describe. Do you think the team is getting along well? I know that T1 had a lot of roster changes.
지금 멤버들이랑은 다 고루고루 친한 것 같아요. 서로.
Yeah, the current member of us five are getting along really well.
I don't know if you had any chance to do anything in New York or other parts of North America while you were traveling for Worlds. Did you get to do anything besides training? Any kind of tourism?
일단 뉴욕은 타임스퀘어 주변만 좀 돌아봤던 것 같고 식당 같은 거 갈 때. 그리고 저희가 이번 미국에 다른 일정 때문에 일찍 와서 LA로 먼저 갔었는데 거기서는 되게 뭔가 미디어에서만 본 듯한 뭐라지 그런 좀 풍경을 좀 많이 봐서 재밌었던 것 같아요.
So in New York, I usually just like stayed around in Times Square area, like when we go out to eat. But before World started, we actually came to LA first to have some event there, and then I was able to actually like see some of the landscapes and stuff I only saw on the media. I was able to like see that in real life, so it was so amazing.
I wonder if you can tell me, like, when you were growing up, did you think you could be a pro gamer? I don't know if your parents, did they support you, and has their attitude kind of changed?
저는 좀 사실 연습생은 좀 어떻게 보면은 그냥 한번 해보자 이런 느낌으로 했던 것 같고 연습생 하면서 뭔가 내가 1군에 데뷔할 수 있을까 이런 뭔가 생각을 좀 많이 가지고 있었던 것 같고 그냥 막연하게 열심히 하다 보면은 언젠가 그래도 기회가 오겠지 이런 생각으로 열심히는 했던 것 같습니다.
So when I was an academy player, it was more like let's give it a shot. And then like I was thinking to myself like can I actually like make it to the main roster? I was pretty unsure, but I was like, if I work hard, it might happen. And then, my mom, she was so supportive, and then my father, he kind of changed, at first he was a little bit not like that, and then as time went by, he was also very supportive.
Hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. I wonder if there's do you remember like a moment where you could convince your father to kind of respect what you're doing and believe in you? Is it like a time that you won something? Maybe he changed his mind then.
그 정도까지는 아니고 그냥 그 처음에는 이제 아빠가 안 돼 돌아가 약간 이런 식으로 하셨는데 이제 엄마랑 형이 좀 이걸 왜 안 해보아 하면서 강력하게 말해서 그때 좀 생각이 바뀌신 것 같아요.
So it was like at first he was very against it. He was like, "Don't you even think about it." And but my mom and my brother, my older brother, they were actually the one talking to my father. They were like, "Why aren't you letting him do this? This is a great opportunity." So, they really helped me a lot in terms of having my father change his mind.
Is it correct that you're 18? That would make you one of the youngest players here, and I wonder what that is like, coming here at such a young age.
일단 커리어 초반부터 이런 국제전에 많이 참가해본다는 게 되게 엄청난 좀 축복이라고 해야 되나? 그런 축복인 것 같고 뭔가 이 경험을 토대로 뭔가 앞으로의 좀 프로 생활하면서 동기부여가 많이 될 것 같습니다.
I think it's a like huge blessing for me that I can actually participate in so many international events in the beginning of my professional career. And I think this experience will become a huge motivation for myself.
Mhm. Okay, thank you so much. 감사합니다.
땡큐.
Okay.
감사합니다.